Have you been looking at environmental management systems and wondering if that's what your company really needs? Or would you be better off simply outsourcing your environmental program to outside experts? Today we're going to break down the difference between an EMS and outsourced environmental support, explain the pros and cons of each, and help you figure out which approach may make the most sense for your business. Hi there, I'm Doug Ruhlin from RMA, your environmental experts. We help companies across the country manage environmental compliance, permitting, inspections, and regulatory requirements. And before we go too far, just know that if you ever need a hand with environmental compliance, you can always reach out to us at RMA. Now let's jump in. One of the biggest misconceptions that we see is that EMS, or environmental management systems, and outsourced environmental support are competing solutions. They're really not. They solve different problems. Let's start with the EMS, or environmental management system. An EMS is essentially an internal framework for managing environmental responsibilities. Think of it as an organized system behind your environmental compliance program. It typically includes things like procedures, inspections, training programs, compliance tracking, documentation, corrective actions, audits, and processes for continual improvement. You might be able to develop an EMS yourself, or you might pay an expert like us to come in and develop one for you. The most well-known example is ISO 14001, but not every EMS has to be formally certified. At its core, an EMS helps create repeatable systems instead of relying upon individual employees to remember everything. Now, let's compare that to outsourced environmental support. This is different because instead of internally managing all environmental responsibilities, a company hires an outside environmental firm or consulting company, like us, to handle some or all of those functions. That might include permit management, inspections, stormwater compliance, air permitting, hazardous waste support, environmental training, reporting, agency communications, ongoing compliance oversight, you name it. In some cases, outsourced support functions almost like having an environmental department without having to hire and maintain one internally. So here's the key distinction. An EMS is a system. Outsourcing is a staffing and operational approach. They're not the same thing. In fact, some of the strongest environmental programs we see combine both. They have an organized internal system for managing compliance, the EMS, while also relying upon experts for specialized knowledge, ongoing oversight, and additional help when needed, the outsourced program support. So which approach is right for your company? If you're a larger organization with dedicated environmental staff, a formal EMS may make a lot of sense. But if you're a smaller or mid-sized company with limited internal resources, outsourced support may be the more practical solution. And for many businesses, a combination of both is often the sweet spot. Now, one thing we hear all the time is, what's this actually going to cost? If you're comparing options and shopping on price, we've created calculators on our website that can help estimate both EMS development costs and ongoing outsourced environmental program support costs. We also have learning centers dedicated to both topics, so you can better understand what each approach involves before making a decision. If you're trying to decide which approach makes the most sense for your business, reach out to us here at RMA. We'd be happy to help you sort through the options and point you in the right direction.